Greetings, here once again on Fort Rock in Eastern Oregon. I always try to come here at least once a year. It's an annual pilgrimage to commune with the ancient people, the true DIYers, the true nomads, the true off-grid livers. There's not a single person today that truly lives completely off-grid, as in 100% independent of any consumer product of any kind. 10,000 years ago, there was no store to go to, no electricity to just flip on, no running water. Although Fort Rock itself was surrounded by water and a big inland lake or sea, however you want to describe it. But around the end of the last ice age, it all started drying up, and right around then, people seem to have started leaving their detritus around. And there were, if you look at the reader board down at the bottom of the rock, you'll see a sign that talks about old sagebrush sandals. They took the bark of sagebrush and made reverse wrap cordage and twisted it into sandals and made their own. These are my sandals that I made. Made these from a single rear tire from a riding lawnmower that was lying around the farm I was living on. And these are some sleeping bag cinch straps that I just put together. Now, I absolutely advocate making everything yourself, doing everything yourself. Even cultivating land for like a personal garden. I mean, nature's garden is the size of the planet, and it is more abundant than you could possibly ever deplete as one person. I always advocate foraging wherever it's possible to do so sustainably, rather than devoting yet more land area to cultivation. Just let nature provide, she will. But sometimes people provide, and their leftovers. You know, back then they left over their sandals and we carbon dated them to more than 10,000 years old. These, I don't think they'll carbon date to more than about 10 years old. But what I did basically, I just cut out obviously the bottom of the outside of the rear tire. The rear tire was nice and wide so I could actually get a good, strip out of it. I kind of wish I had done it, a little more straight as far as that goes. But all I did was I just got buzzed by birds. I took a pair of tin snips or metal shears and just cut around the perimeter of my foot there, and it took a while to devise how to strap it together. There's a million ways to do so. The Romans had their ways, the native peoples had their ways. You could do a thong. I hate things here. It drives me crazy ever since I was a kid, growing up in flip-flops and barefoot in a hot environment of California. I hated having that little thing between my toes from the thongs. It drives me nuts. I don't like that. It irritates me, and they always go flying off, and so I like the sandal strap. And so this system has sort of you've got to get this measurement just right, so it's just squeezing enough but not too much. And the same thing here, this measurement on the heel is a little tricky as well, to get it just right to where it sort of stays up on its own. And then it's just a simple system of across and under there, and then you cinch it down. And I had to stop earlier because that one pulled out on me while I was hiking around the rocks here, but it's not too bad. This rock is like cheese grater, but if you're a barefoot walker, you can handle just about any tough terrain, everything but, volcanic glass, just about, And even then, if you're very, very gentle and careful, like around here, so always make sure, come out here and commune with the people who did everything themselves. And I'm all about doing everything myself whenever possible. If that means scavenging what you left over, then I'll do that, and I've done plenty of that. But it's very, very important. I almost can get somewhat emotional at times coming out here and communing with these people. They really knew how to survive. And the sandals in question were found, I believe, in a cave in that little rock over there. And if you can imagine this whole vast area all around us, all water. And so you kind of go, wow, so they, how did they get over here? Did they have reed boats or something? Because the shore would have been way over there. That would have been almost an island. This would have been an island. And that's really fascinating. Oh, there's some people walking around. There's a nice little hiking trail. You can do a little loop around. But I prefer to get up on top here and take in the sights. It's a little treacherous though, so be very, very, very careful. Not just for the drops, which this is just about vertical down there. That is a scary, scary drop, and it came up on me before I could even catch myself almost now. That made me a little nervous. So be careful about things like that. But I've also seen scorpions. So watch for scorps. I mean, this is, holy cow. Yeah. Ooh, it's also very, very windy. But I think it's very important that we all remember that consumer products that you buy out of the store are not always the answer. Most people, when they want to meet some need, they just automatically shop instead of think, how can I meet that need myself? You know, that's an age-old human characteristic of how do I do it myself? How can I be self-reliant? How can I use what doesn't cost any money? You know, that approach has sustained us up until modern consumer culture for, you know, tens of thousands, if not more than 100,000 years of modern humans. We've been in our form for a good 100,000 years. So it seems kind of silly to think that, you know, it was only the last 8 to 10,000 years that civilization sort of started unfolding. I find that hard to believe. I believe civilization started long, long ago. But what led these people to be here? See a dust devil out there. You know, to be self-reliant to the point where they're using, you know, cordage for shoes. They could have used, you know, leather or something like that, you know, moccasins, buckskin. You know, there could have been any number of things they could have used, but sagebrush apparently was the stuff to use. And I myself have made cordage out of sagebrush bark. It's not that sturdy, so it's kind of interesting to think that they did that. But it's always really moving and really, really important to reconnect with the old ways that kept us and going and sustained us all the way up until, right, just a few thousand years ago. Not that long ago, geologically, or even in terms of human history, the end of the Neolithic era and entering into the, you know, the copper, bronze, and eventually Iron Age, and, you know, ancient Mesopotamia 8,000 years ago, 6 to 8,000 years ago, unfolding. Woo, it's windy up here, so breezy. But remember what got us here and how important it is to remember those skills and those traits and those techniques, because you may need them again, just like I needed them again in order to save a whole bunch of money. You know how much Tevas are that look basically the same thing, only they have a big squishy thing and they're just super, they're like $110, I think. I was going, these cost me $0. I had, the straps were laying around from a sleeping bag, and the old tire was just laying around on the ground. You know, I picked the tire that wasn't in the sun, so it wasn't rotten. But that's all you had to do, was just basically walk out and pick up random stuff. Now I have a pair of shoes, and quite honestly, these shoes, these sandals, these are tough. I'm surprised that little piece blew out, because I've gone on off-trail runs in these. Literally, off-trail, you know, on a dirt path, basically. You know, multi-mile runs, 5K. On gravel in these, and they've done just fine. I've hiked all over the place, done all sorts of crazy stuff. Gosh, this wind is killing me. And they just keep on going. That's the first time they've actually had any problems in a long time. And of course, it was super easy to fix. I just remelted the little bottom part there. That's all it is just melted plastic basically holding it in, you know. But always remember, you can do it yourself, do it. If you can make it yourself, if you can find it in nature without even having to grow it yourself, all the better. And that's what I did, and that's what you can do yourself. I think that's about enough communing for now. I'm going to continue hiking around and see if I can't take in a better view somewhere. I want to thank you very, very much for joining me here as I commune with the ancient people at Fort Rock to enjoy this wonderful, incredible connection with history, enjoy these beautiful sunny skies, and, as always, ants.